My name is Andrea Fleischman. I am the College Credit Plus coordinator, assuming the role from Mr. Gearhart, who did such a fantastic job of getting the College Credit Plus program off the ground when it landed in Ohio. Thank you for coming to learn more about the College Credit Plus program. There are a lot of details and a lot of things to know, but I've worked really hard to get some resources for you all to take home with you. There are a lot of virtual resources now, and I have an office in the building, which is a new thing for the College Credit Plus coordinator, so I'm really excited to touch base with students here at school to help answer questions as they come. I'd like to introduce some college representatives who are joining me here tonight. From Cedarville University, Abigail Rist is here. From Miami University, Alicia Justice. From Sinclair Community College, Amy Ratcliffe and Tabitha Shuey. And from Wright State University, Kathy Davis. Although CCP is a statewide program, these are the colleges that most of our students choose to take courses with. The representatives will have tables out in the lobby following the presentation, and I will as well, and we'll all be happy to answer questions about College Credit Plus, and they'll be happy to answer questions about CCP at their institutions. This presentation will also be posted online, so you can review this, and as I mentioned, a lot of online resources will be available that I'll show you toward the end of the presentation. Okay, great. Has anybody heard of College Credit Plus? Just kidding. It's a very popular program for a lot of good reasons. It's a program that allows Ohio students in grades 7 through 12 to take college courses that count toward a high school diploma and earn college credit at the same time. There's a variety of college courses available that can be used to meet high school graduation requirements. College courses are worth a certain amount of credit hours. And a course that's worth 3 or more credit hours equates to 1 high school credit as we use it for high school graduation. There are 3 terms available. Summer is the first term of the new school year, followed by fall semester and spring semester. And those are the 3 terms in the school year when students can take courses. CCP is offered at all public universities in the state of Ohio and some private universities as well. Each college does have their own admission requirements. There are some standard admission criteria to be in the CCP program, but then on top of that, some colleges have their own, and it also depends on what courses students want to take, so there could be specific admission criteria dependent upon what course the student wants to take. All of these colleges have a College Credit Plus website that has all of the information that students need. So I strongly recommend when you're trying to decide what college to take courses with that you just visit their website and look through their CCP page thoroughly. Lots of information is on there. Students can take courses in a variety of formats. One is at the high school taught by a qualified teacher, and right now we have 2 English classes from Wright State University. Students can take courses online or on a campus. If students are replacing high school courses with College Credit Plus courses, it's really important to remember that students must be enrolled in 5 Carnegie units each semester in order to be considered a full-time student. So CCP courses that are worth 3 credit hours or more convert to 2 Carnegie units. Okay, for this calculation. So if a student wants to take 3 year-long classes and have a hybrid schedule where they're at the high school for a little while and then they leave to take their college courses, this is just an example. So students want to be in 3 year-long high school courses, which are a credit each, right? Then a student would need to take at least 1 College Credit Plus course each semester that's 3 or more credit hours, since that'll count as 2. So that makes 5 each semester, okay? And if anybody needs me to go over that again, we can talk after the presentation. There are a lot of calculations and numbers that come along with this program, so I want to make sure everybody has that information. There are some eligibility requirements that students must meet in order to participate in CCP, like I mentioned. GPA, grades, and relevant courses like English and math are part of this. Students may be required to submit an ACT or SAT score showing that they are college ready or remediation free, or they could be asked to take placement tests from the college. Some colleges may have higher admission requirements for some of our courses, and like I mentioned, it's just really best practice to visit the college's CCP websites for those specific eligibility requirements. One very important eligibility step is to complete the online intent to participate form. This is really what kicks off the entire College Credit Plus registration process. This is a state requirement. The intent to participate form is an online form that will be ready this month, very soon. It will be posted on our website, and it'll be put out to Parent Square as well. So hopefully you're all signed up to receive Parent Square notifications. I know that Parent Square sends a lot of information, but keep an eye on that for the intent form. The intent form does need to be filled out by current CCP students. So even if your student is already in CCP, or you know they have friends in CCP, all students who want to participate in CCP the following school year need to complete an intent to participate form. Okay, very important. This is also not binding. So if a student completes the intent to participate form thinking that they're going to do CCP, but maybe their plans change, that's okay. But the other way around won't work. So if they decide later to take CCP but they didn't fill out the form, then it's a hard no, since this is a requirement from the state. This form is due by April 1st, so I would just recommend, if you're here tonight, that means you have some interest in the program, just fill it out. That way you're covered, and you don't have to worry about anything. So each college has a College Credit Plus webpage where you can find admission requirements, enrollment information, and the most important thing, which is an online application. So the intent form is a state requirement, a form that we put out for students to state their intent. There's an actual online application for CCP admission for the college that students want to take classes with in the program, okay? So this is a very important step, is to remember to apply for College Credit Plus admission at the college that you want to take classes with. Also, remember when you're filling out applications, this is kind of for undergraduate admissions or College Credit Plus admissions, whatever it is, use a personal email account. You're going to hear me talk a little bit about email checking for high school students, which I know is not second nature, but if you're taking college classes early, you're kind of functioning as an adult early, and adults communicate by email. So it is really important to start checking email. Using a personal email address when you fill out that College Credit Plus application is important, because our Centerville email account is very safe and protected, and so not every message will make its way through to that inbox. So just use a personal email address when you're filling out applications for colleges, including the CCP application. Once admitted, students will have access to an academic advisor through the college. This is a very helpful person who can help students find courses that'll be right for them, find the format. As I mentioned, there are a few different ways students can take classes, including online or on a college campus, and make sure these courses are available and things like that. If students have questions about how college courses will count for graduation requirements, that's something that I can help with as the CCP coordinator at the high school. But if students have questions about what class to take, or what a certain class is like, or the online format, what the online format is like, those questions are best answered by meeting with an academic advisor. And academic advisors can be reached by phone or email. There's a Sinclair academic advisor who you'll meet tonight at the table, who actually comes into the school and visits with students twice a month. So these people want to help students find the right class and make sure that they're successful. There are pathways that are listed on colleges' CCP websites, but students aren't limited to taking just the courses in the pathway. They're just there and exist as a guide, just as a resource for you. Students are restricted to taking level 1 courses only for the first 15 credit hours. Colleges have their level 1 courses posted on their CCP web pages. Students can then move on to level 2 courses once they complete 15 credit hours in level 1. And it's best to just review the college's CCP websites to find that list of level 1 courses. And then level 2 courses are really any other college class for which a student meets the prerequisite after that 15 credit hours. One important note is that seniors who are replacing high school graduation requirements with CCP courses should really be taking those courses in the fall semester of the senior year, just so that there are no surprises, nothing can interrupt. We have a backup plan if things don't go well, and we're on track for graduation. So a lot of students use CCP to take their English course. Students need 4 credits of English for graduation. That's a good example. If you're saving that last English credit for CCP senior year, take it in the fall. That way you're covered. You'll have a much less stressful spring semester, and you can take more things that you want that might apply to your major or your career field after that. There are some non-allowable courses, and here are some examples of courses that students can't take through CCP and that can't count for graduation requirements. My favorite question is PE. Colleges offer really exciting, fun PE courses that we just cannot count for a high school diploma, unfortunately. So just be aware of that there are some courses that are non-allowable through CCP. This is something that I want to touch on, and if anyone has questions about this, I want to make sure everyone understands this. There is a limit to how many credit hours a student can take each school year, as well as in the CC program entirely. The limit is 30 credits per year, but there's a calculation that you need to be aware of because it also includes high school credits. Okay, so here's the calculation. What you would do first is add up the high school credits that a student is taking in a school year at face value, right? Some of our high school courses are worth 1 credit, some are worth half, our PE classes are worth 1/4 credit. So you add all of those up for the school year, and you multiply that by 3. And then you subtract 30, which is the allowable amount of credits per school year in CCP. And then that will give you the amount of college credit hours available for that school year, okay? It's also very, very important to know when you're signing up for college courses how many credit hours a college course is worth, right? Because that's what you're going to need to know for this calculation. So most college classes are worth 3 credit hours, but there are some surprises. Some are worth 5, and a student was like, I didn't know it was worth 5. And I was like, well, yeah, but it is, and now you're over the 30 amount. So you have to really know how many credit hours each college class is worth when you're doing this calculation to make sure you stay under 30. So for example, if a student is taking 6 credits at the high school, which is the maximum number of credits you can earn in a school year, since we have lunch as that one 7th period, or A period in your 7-period day. So you would multiply 6 by 3 to get 18, right? Then you subtract from 30, so that means there are 12 credit hours available for that school year, okay? And again, school year means summer, fall, and spring semesters. Students can take more credit hours outside of the 30 under what's called option A. So option A is basically a status where a student identifies as option A to say, I am going to take more than 30, I am going to pay the institution directly at the standard rate of tuition. Okay, so that's kind of a separate thing where the student would notify the college, they would notify me as the CCP coordinator, I would document it, there's a little form that I would have a student fill out so that everybody knows that once we're past 30, the student intends to continue taking courses under option A, but the student and family works directly with the university to work out the cost, and it's at the standard rate of tuition that the college has set. Some additional considerations for CCP. It's really important to know that when you're doing college, when you're taking courses under CCP, you're really starting your undergraduate transcript early. And so these grades that students are earning will be recorded on both the high school transcript and the college undergraduate transcript. This could have an impact on anything that the college transcript is used for, such as employment, internships, admission into a post-baccalaureate program or an advanced degree program, a master's degree or a doctorate program. So it's just really, really important to remember that and to think through that. While the grade on the high school transcript must match the college transcript exactly, behind the scenes we do weight grades for College Credit Plus courses as long as we have a weighted course in the same subject area here at the high school. Okay, so like English class would be a good example. We have several AP English classes, several honors English classes, so we weight college English classes since we have that opportunity at the high school. So behind the scenes, at most university, an A in a college course carries the weight of an H+ in the high school course, which is a 5.33 GPA value. So it's calculating into the GPA as a weighted course, but the grade on the transcript has to match the college transcript, so that's why it's going to be an A on there. Okay. One of the biggest considerations is this. While grades and test scores can determine college readiness, there are some other things that we need to be paying attention to determine whether or not a student is college ready, right? Topics of discussions in college courses can be much more mature in their content than high school courses, so it's important to think about that. Also, one of the biggest reasons why students fail or withdraw from a college class is because of that. They're just not there with that self-discipline, the self-advocacy, not using resources when they know they need help, not reaching out to the college when they know they need help. These are things that it takes a minute for some students to learn how to do. And so some students, while on paper in their classes they're rocking it, maybe they're not there yet with those two things. Especially online courses, nobody is there saying like, hey, it's time to go to class. You have to log onto your computer, see what's due, manage your time throughout the week because it's all going to be due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And nobody is there to say, hey, it's time to work on this on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, so it's just really important to consider that. And I'm just going to take this opportunity to plug checking email accounts one more time because professors do reach out to students through their email, but a lot of students don't even know that they have a college email account. I've talked to many students who got into a situation, they were like, I reached out to my professor, but they're not emailing me back. Well, they did, it's just to your college email inbox. And so checking email, once again, is just really, really important. Some additional considerations and kind of some differences between high school courses and college courses. You might already know this for parents who have been through college before, but the recommended study time for a college course is about 2 to 3 hours for each hour of class that's recommended for students to do well in these college courses. So the amount of time is going to be different. In high school, mostly it's in-class learning, and then assignments follow, to follow what was covered in class, whereas college is kind of the opposite, like it's a lot of independent work before the in-class discussion. The test that's a big adjustment. Here at the high school, we'll have a test, once a week or a couple times a unit, and so there are many opportunities to take smaller tests and collect a lot of points, but in college classes, it could be like maybe once, maybe twice a semester for these tests and exams, so it's important to remember that. For grades, the difference here is going to be, for our high school classes, we have running percentages in Home Access Center that I hope you all are in the habit of checking. We show you every assignment, what your student received on that assignment, when the due date was, things like that in a running percentage throughout the entire semester. But in college, that's definitely not the case. I don't even see grades for students as a CCP coordinator for the school. Really, nobody does, unless the student reaches out to the professor to ask how they're doing. There are also many opportunities to earn points, a lot of participation points in high school courses, a lot of different types of assignments you can really collect points. But in college, there are very few opportunities to gain points. And if you miss one, that could really tank your grade in a college course. Parents and guardians serve more as a mentor role for college classes, whereas for a high school class, any parent anytime can call up a counselor, email a teacher, ask how things are going, check Home Access Center to know exactly what grade the student has in the class. But only the student can talk to the professor. Professors will not talk to parents about how they're doing in college classes. There's a FERPA law in place that prevents them from being able to talk with parents. So it's just really important that your student is advocating for themselves, is working on their assignments, and parents can be more of a mentor role for that to make sure they're on track or looking together at their schoolwork. With accommodations, Parents are really involved in getting accommodations for students who have plans like a 504 or IEP, but for college, the student would have to talk to a student support services department to go over paperwork and some qualifications to receiving support in those college classes. One quick thing about selective service, this has tripped up some male students, especially seniors who are turning 18. It's just important to know that male students who turn 18 have to register for selective service in order to take college classes. And so they need to do that, and that if they're in college classes early, like in CCP, and then they need to report their registration number to the college. So just one thing about taking college classes early while you're in high school is that this is still a thing that male students need to do. So that might sound scary, so let's talk about the good things about CCP, which I truly think there are some benefits to being in this program. Students can earn college credit ahead of time to really maximize their experience when they're in college. This could open up some time for internships, study abroad programs, co-ops, things like that, without adding time to finishing a degree, which is a really good thing. It's a really supportive way to take a college course. They can kind of figure out what it's like with the support of being still in high school and having a guidance counselor to talk to, having a CCP coordinator to talk to and walk through, like, remember, you've got to check your email, things like that. And especially if students take those Wright State English classes, that's probably the most supportive way that students can test drive what a college course is going to be like. You do still have access to a teacher. You're here in the building in a period of your day every single school day, but they run it like a college class, so you get the feel for what a college class is like and the expectations. And of course, saving money on a college education. And so remember, as long as students stay in the course and earn the credit, earn a passing grade, the tuition, any fees, textbooks are all paid for under College Credit Plus. I would encourage students to think about how the CCP relates to their future goals, such as the types of colleges that they want to attend after graduating from high school, what kind of career fields they're headed toward. Another consideration if your student is in AP classes and interested in College Credit Plus, if students are earning 3 or higher on those AP exams, they're accumulating college credit. So it's really important to not take a college class through CCP that you already have college credit for through an AP exam. So there are just some things to kind of be aware of, some considerations. I'm, again, really happy that I'm right here in the building to help students kind of map things out and think about these things when they're trying to put together a plan for CCP. Some consequences of underperforming that I just want to go over real quick. Again, we will seek reimbursement for tuition and books and fees if a student does not pass the class and does not earn credit. The other thing to remember is that colleges have a couple of different dates by which a student can drop a college course. For a little while, they can drop without any record on their transcript, and basically it's a refund that they would get. But then past a certain time, they can still drop, but at that point it's a no refund situation where a student would earn a grade of W, and this grade doesn't impact the GPA, but it will appear on the high school transcript as well as the college transcript, and it really just kind of communicates that a student withdrew later in the semester. But for that situation, that's past the no-fault date or refund date, and so we would seek reimbursement for any W's or late drops. So just something to know. And then CCP probation is a status where if students earn less than a 2.0 cumulative GPA from their college classes, or if they receive a failing grade and or two failing grades and or W's in the same semester, they'll be on CCP probation for the following semester. CCP probation really just means that a student they can still be in the program, but they can only take one course for the following term. Then they have to bring their GPA up to a 2.0 or above in order to be off of probation. If their GPA does not rise above a 2.0, then they'll be on dismissal. And dismissal is a status where students have to take a term off, basically. It's not forever, but the following term, students have to sit out, they can't take a course, any course, and then they can basically appeal to be reinstated into the program once they've had a timeout. Remember about that intent form. So I hope this doesn't happen. I've only experienced a couple of students on dismissal, but it's important if a student is in the middle of dismissal, it's important that they still fill out that intent form if they can be reinstated for the following school year, if that timing happens. They still have to fill out that intent form. Grades, I think I mentioned this, grades earned in CCP will remain on college transcripts permanently. So it's there, it's transcribed officially, so it's just really important to remember that. It could also affect financial aid. So if a student is headed off to college after high school and they need some financial aid, they're filing the FAFSA, they could run into problems with poor grades in the CCP program to earn that financial aid or to get that financial aid. There is a lot of support and some support services that students can get. First of all, it's important to know that students can contact that professor just like any other college student. Just because they're not enrolled in that college as an undergrad student, they can talk to the professor, they can visit during office hours, they can have a Zoom meeting, they can have a phone call, they can email back and forth, just like any other college student. As well as advisors. They have access to advisors like any other college student. A lot of colleges also have academic support services. They have, math centers, writing help centers, things like that students can access just like college students. So those are all out there, and it's important for students to remember that and take advantage of that. And again, the main means of communication between professors and students, especially for online classes, is that email checking. I'm not going to go into it, but you know how I feel about it, so just make sure. And then, again, for students on an IEP or 504, it's important to work with the Academic Support Services Department or the Student Support Services Department at the college that students are taking courses with to talk about accommodations. Athletes. So it's really important if your student is an athlete, it's important to know that calculation for the Ohio High School Athletic Association. OHSAA has their athletic eligibility requirements, and they do consider College Credit Plus classes when they're counting up those 5 eligibility credits. So I believe a college course that's worth 3 or more credit hours count as 2, just like how we count them for Carnegie units for athletic eligibility. This can get tricky if a student is in a situation where they need to drop a college course. So it's just really important to know what the count is. I can help with that count. Mr. Dement, our athletic director, can help with that count. So before a student drops, there are just a couple of checks to make sure we're good to go and that it doesn't affect anything. I get this question a lot, will these credits transfer? And it's honestly a tough question to answer, because the answer to that always lies with the future college. Anytime you're trying to transfer credit from one college to the next, it's always important to ask that future college to sit down with an academic advisor and talk about how the credit will transfer. Whether you're in CCP taking college credit or in college and you transfer to another university. So I always like to tell students just communicate with the college, especially seniors who are trying to figure out where they're going to go to college the following year for an undergraduate degree. Check with that college. Every college has an admission representative assigned to our school, and I can help students get in touch with those admission reps who are assigned to our school to have that conversation, to map out, like, here's what I'm thinking for college courses. Will this all transfer? How will this apply to gen eds or my degree? Things like that. That should always be part of the conversation, since the future school determines how credits will transfer in. This is a website that you can use for to see the equivalent class. So like if you have a map of a certain degree pathway at one college in Ohio and you want to take like an English class because you know it might count as a gen ed, you can find it at a different university and see what the course equivalency is by using that website there. And that's just from the state of Ohio's website. This is something that, if you all want to get your phones out and try to scan this QR code, I hope it works for every seat in here, we'll find out. But I did create, as I mentioned, a lot of virtual resources just to go over this stuff again. I don't know about you, but I had to go over those calculations 10 times before I really understood it. So get your phone out. It takes you to my virtual office. I'll wait a minute so everybody can see that. That's a picture of my virtual office there. And almost everything is clickable on that virtual office. You can click around and get to a whole bunch of different websites, including our College Credit Plus website for the district, and including this checklist that I want to bring up. So this is what the QR code should take you to, right? And then if you click on that checklist, it'll give you a nice resource right here. Honestly, if you just follow the checklist, you're going to check every single step in the process to being enrolled in the CCP program, applying to the university, reaching out to them to find out what courses you want to take, and you'll have all the information. So that's something that I worked really hard on that I hope is really helpful, but if you have a question about it, please let me know so I can make it better. But that is your go-to resource, and that's going to be on our website as well, on our district website. So if you lose it, it'll be on our district website. Under the CCP webpage and information. Again, it's just really important to complete that intent form, which is number 1 on the checklist by April 1st, not binding. If you're here, I think you should just fill it out just to cover yourself, and then check email. So I send emails to students primarily using their Centerville school email address, mainly because that's the only one that I know. For students, but then remember to check the personal email address that's used when applying for CCP admission at the college, and then once you're in the CCP program, you're taking courses for a college, check the college inbox. And that's really all I have for the presentation part. The reps will be happy to answer